Hi, it's Seth Apter. I'm coming to you live from CHA 2016 in Anaheim, California. I'm in the Impression Obsession booth showing off my new stamps. So the questions come to me as to how can somebody find their own artistic creative voice? That is a really good question. It's a challenge. There's so much out there on the internet to be seen, and I think sometimes we get flooded. So I think what the best advice that I could give is to step away, even briefly, which I know is hard, from the internet and just begin to play. Take a journal, take a book, take something that's really cheap, that you're not worried about it being precious, and just begin to draw, begin to doodle, begin to stamp, begin to do whatever it is that you do. And I want you to do that without thinking. Thinking is the worst thing you can do when you're creating. I want you to do page after page after page over the course of maybe 1 or 2 weeks. And then what I want you to do is I want you to look at what you've created. And I also want you to give it to a trusted friend, somebody who really you feel like you won't be embarrassed to show what you've done. And I want you and I want your friend separately to write down 3 words that describes your style. And I think you're going to be surprised to find that there's likely going to be an overlap and something that really comes out over time using different pages and different materials. And I think that what you see, when you see that you do have a style like that and you have a label, somehow that label just feeds you. And I think it actually lends itself to you then even creating more of your own personal style. So give it a go and let me know. It's Seth Apter. Email me, really, and I'll answer, I promise. And let me know if that worked for you and what your style actually is. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you again soon. Bye.
My advice for someone looking to find their own style is pinpoint what your style is. Look through all of your work and look for common themes or motifs or colors, things that you like to use all the time, and then incorporate those in your work all the time and make it professional, make it the deal that that's part of your style.
Okay, so inspiration and how do you create your own style? That question comes up really quite often. And I think the best thing I can say is the more art you do, it just automatically comes out of you. I like clean and simple, but for me to do clean and simple, it does not work. It looks unfinished to me. So I think you just keep trying and trying and trying. If you're a newcomer, don't buy every product on the market. Try a few things, look around, see what you really like, because when I first started, I bought like a ton of stuff, and half of it I didn't like, but it looked interesting. So I think choose a few things, work with those, and kind of expand from there. And I think the more you do, the easier it is, and your style just automatically develops. That's my advice.
Hi, May Flom here. So for me, if I'm looking for my own creative style and my own inspiration and how do I do that? Because there's so many people out there that are inspiring me. There's so many wonderful things out there. What I do is I take a look at what is calling to me. What do I want? What on here? What is calling to me? And for me, like this afternoon, what's calling to me is just combining blues and navies and cream color. If it's color, go with color. And if you're not sure style-wise, give something a try. See how you feel about the end result. So, for example, can I give you a bad example? Here's a bad example, and I'm serious. So I dislike this project, but it's not that it's a bad project, it's not me. And the reason it's not me is I didn't initially want to go around the edges, and I didn't want to layer up as much as I did, but I thought that's what I should do, and I didn't listen. The voice in your head, it's gonna tell you what you ought to be doing. It's gonna tell you what you want, what's you. And if you don't follow it, that's okay, because guess what? I won't do that again. I know. I won't do that again. What I will do though is maybe a single layer of stuff, or all purple, because I love purple. So do what makes you happy. Do what's making the voice in your head and in your heart happy, 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 and that's all. That's all you have to do.
Hey everybody, how you doing? My name's Ken Oliver, and Linda's asked me a couple of questions today, and I'd like to go ahead and kind of answer them. One of the things she asked me is how I found my own voice as an artist, or how to find inspiration, or how to find your voice as an artist. And one of the most important things I think you can do, and this is going to sound like opposite of what most people would do, is unconstructed playtime. The time that you take to just do weird things and to try different things and to think outside the box is where you're going to grow your own unique style that will make you different from everybody else. So what I would say is practice just being unconventional and use your time like as unconstructed playtime, and that's really where you're going to grow.
Hi, I'm Dina Wakely, and I think finding your own voice in art means that you spend a lot of time making art. I think you go to class and you learn, and then I think you need to step away from Pinterest, and you need to step away from the internet, and I think you need to have an experimentation journal where you take all your media, you start with crayon and then put paint over it, or you start with paint and then put ink over it, and then see what happens and see what develops on your own. When I teach face drawing, I can tell what classes people have had, because I'm like, oh, you've had a so-and-so class because you're drawing so-and-so's eye. I can spot it immediately. And so, I think that's neat. That's neat that you want to be someone. If you went to art school, you'd copy for a year, but then don't you want to be known for you? You know, Dina Wakely are not so-and-so's class you taught, and so you have to push it further than the class, which means you have to practice. Time, it takes time. You got to work on it. You got to experiment and take time, and make a lot of bad art. Make it bad, because eventually out of the bad, good happens. Release yourself from the pressure of it needing to be good. That's one of the things that really bugs me about mixed media, is people that, first of all, they don't think it takes practice, when it takes so much practice. Second, they think it needs to be good. It doesn't. Good happens with quantity, with volume. That's how good happens. So that's my personal opinion. But the more art you make, the more your style will become you. But turn off Pinterest, put your phone away, and just see what happens. So that's my idea.
My advice, listen to it. That's it. Your creative voice is there. You know what to do, but you don't want to listen to it. You think you want to figure something out, or you're lost, or you are second guessing everything you do. But if you just listen to it and you get rid of the fear and you just do it, it's right there. It really is. It's my advice. It's my kind advice. Yes.
Hi guys, Cheryl Baglioli here. I'm a designer in the craft and hobby industry, and I think I've been asked how to find your voice. So I just want to encourage you to listen to yourself and find your style. And it's not so, telling you to find your style may not be that easy, but a lot of us struggle with what is our voice. I struggled with this a few years ago. I'm a mixed media artist in my local area in South Florida, and I'm also a professional designer in the craft and hobby industry. And I was really struggling, like, where did I fit in? I had artists that were telling me not to show so many crafty things on my website, and then, yeah, I know, you wouldn't think that they would, but they did. And then I had crafters in the industry asking me why I was here, because I'm working with fine arts product as well. And so I was asking myself, where do I fit in? Am I an artist, or am I a crafter? And so at a show, at the Craft and Hobby Show 3 years ago, I just had that light bulb moment where I am both. I am both an artist and a crafter. So now when people introduce me, or when I introduce myself to people, I always tell them I'm a mixed media artist and I'm a professional designer in the craft and hobby industry. And since I've done that and embraced that, that's when my business has taken off. I'm now finding my style because I'm not trying to fit in one hole, and I'm playing with different mediums. I'm enjoying it a whole lot. I'm traveling all over the country and teaching in my little vintage travel trailer. So I'm having the time of the life, and I'm living the art life. So I just encourage you just to listen to your inner voice, play as much as possible. Don't try to pigeonhole yourself in just one area or just using one medium, and just have fun. And when you let go and just stop trying to meet everybody else's expectations, that's when you're going to find your style. So I hope that helps a little bit. Thanks so much, and you can always find me at CherylBaglioli.com, or find me online at any social media channels, Cheryl Baglioli or Cheryl Baglioli Designs. Hope to make new friends soon. Thanks.
Well, I think that's something that every single one of us struggle with. I've struggled with that several times in my life, and lots of play, just sitting down and playing with stuff until you make something that you just feel so proud about. It moves you, you want to learn more about it. And you just keep playing, going to classes, figuring stuff out. Sometimes you don't know about the different things that are out there, so sometimes a little research, looking at magazines, gathering ideas, YouTube, such a big one. Just Googling something that interests you, looking into it, and then diving into it by playing with it yourself, and then next thing you know, boom, you found something you love, and you just keep playing with it till you have your own little niche going. So
I find the way to find your own voice is just to make art every day, and if you keep doing that and you listen to your heart, you'll find your own voice.
I think it's important when you're trying to find your own voice to experiment. It's okay to try other people's style, and you can find certain aspects of it that you like, but then it's really important that you do find your own way. And it might be starting with just the same color family you like, or the same material. Maybe you like working with metal, and you'll just try a million different things with metal until you find something that's really uniquely yours. But go ahead and experiment.
Finding your own voice. Well, I think it's important to listen to that voice inside of yourself. So you have two voices in your head. One that is your intuition and one that's your critic. And so if you're feeling like you're going to do something and you're gravitating towards, let's say, picking up a color purple, but then there's that voice inside your head that says, oh, don't use purple. Purple is for princesses. Ignore that voice. Go with the one that your heart says. And so I think if you keep following that voice, you will develop your own style. It's really great to mimic other people to get started. Take what you like, but then try to make it your own. Because I don't want it to look like mine. I want it to look like yours.
I think my biggest tip for finding your creative style is to trust your gut. When you're looking at things, what are you drawn to? You know, if you're looking through a magazine or a catalog or you're shopping, you know, I think your brain knows what you like, and if you're drawn to something, that's your style. For me, I love vintage, and so when I shop, I'm drawn to things that are vintage styled or shabby chic, and so that's the style I try to create in. So just look around. It's everywhere all around you, and follow what your heart says when it says, hey, I like that.
Hello friends, I am excited to meet you and hear about your new endeavor. I was asked if I had any advice for somebody who, as an artist, is kind of looking for their own style and their own voice. And that's one of the best things about art, is that you can take things that you can't say out loud, or you maybe have trouble expressing, and you can pour it into your art that can be anything. Anything is art, and everyone is an artist in some way. Oftentimes I don't like to consider myself an artist because I can't paint or draw. But my artistry has always been in the stories that I tell and in what I want to remember. And so I'm trying to think of what my answer would be in terms of advice, and my advice is to do what makes you happy. And I used to think when I was like 16 years ago when I was just starting, I thought to myself, you know, I had these little kids and all these things to do, and I would think to myself, if I had no responsibilities today, if I didn't have to do anything, what would I want to do? What would be what I would choose to do? And I find that if you can really isolate, like what your very favorite thing is to do, what you would do if you didn't have to do anything else, what would you love to lose yourself doing? And do that, and it will change, and it will grow, and it will go back into something else. I like to go and look at a lot of things and then come back, and I would say it's like an inspiration soup. I don't like to take pictures, I don't like to copy, I just like to look at a bunch of things and then come back and just notice how it all influences me. So be open, be influenced, and then be yourself.